All right, let's get this going. And welcome to another test broadcast of Late at Night with Frisco Flame. I'm your host, Frisco Flame. And those of you who know me might know that, hey, your name's really Felix. Why don't you use that? You know why? Because there's some douchebag in the Netherlands or somewhere that isn't allowing me to because my name gets too confusing when brought in conversation. But hey, enough about me. You're not here for me. You're here for TinyBuild Games, creators of speedrunners, publishers of games such as Punch Club, The Road to Valhalla, and Party Hard. I'm here with Luke. Luke, introduce yourself.
Hey, I'm Luke.
All right, tell them a little more about your role.
My role. What do I do at TinyBuild? That's a good question that everybody asks, and I never have an answer for. Basically, I handle like all of the business side nonsense of running a company. I do all of our like conference stuff, and put together all the crazy punching machines and orange tiles and whatnot that you may have seen at our events.
Yeah, you know that punching machine, that was interesting. If you were at PAX South, Punch Club got released, and you guys did something really interesting with Punch Club where you didn't release it until Twitch beat it.
Yeah, that was what everybody read. That's very true. Technically, it was gonna release 2 weeks later, regardless. However, we got a lot of interesting coverage because we were holding it to Twitch, but it ended up working out pretty okay. It only lasted maybe like I think it was like 36 hours before Twitch beat Punch Club,
I'm
something like that.
I'm kind of amazed people were able to work together online that long.
Me too. Actually, they really got in like this weird hive mind sort of thing, and they're like discussing like in depth of what they need to do. Like, oh, we need to go get food, and then we need to work out, then we need to get the girlfriend because it'll give us this buff and all sorts of weird stuff. We're like, this is kind of creepy,
It's like, you guys know this game isn't out yet. How do you know this?
right?
Yeah, but it was very fun, and the punching machine was super popular at PAX South. And we learned that no matter what we do, the internet can do it better.
Right.
uh, fun times, fun times. So, Punch Club just got an update, correct?
Mm-hmm. This week, yep.
Can you tell us a little more about that?
So the update is called the Dark Fist. It basically makes a new storyline branch inside of the game, and it adds a like superhero sort of storyline to Punch Club, of which I won't spoil anything, but there's a lot of kitties with big old eyes that you get to interact with,
Kitties with big ol' eyes.
or I guess kitty, but yeah. If you've seen the trailer or whatnot, you get what I'm saying. We had we actually that also kind of blew up on Twitter about the trailer that we released, and people were so sad, but it worked out.
Oh, fun. Yeah, so like I said, Punch Club was a super interesting project because how would you describe this? A turn-based boxing simulator RPG?
Yeah, I mean you could describe it like that. It's got some RPG elements, got some simulation elements to it. Some people even say that there's even just random, just like a little clicker game elements to it. And I suppose all of them are kind of accurate. You've got to increase your stats, which is kind of RPG-ish, and there's a grind to it. And then you're clicking around a lot, kind of like a point and click kind of sort of story mode. So there's a little bit of kind of all those genres mixed up into Punch Club.
Yeah, with I know, like, I still need to beat the game. Like, I have a lot of friends that beat the game. I haven't done it yet.
It takes a while. It does take a while.
That's it's like I've got too many games to play. I can't play video games.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the challenge nowadays, right? Like, where were we? We were discussing with somebody. I don't know if it was a panel or just talking amongst some, some people. But like the whole conversation, the conversation used to be like, people are competing for people's dollars, right? For consumers' dollars. But that's not the case anymore nowadays. Nowadays, people are competing for consumers' time. So it's kind of an interesting kind of shift there.
Yeah, no, that absolutely makes sense, and that's why I never got into games like Skyrim or Fallout, because I'm like, I say I don't have the time, and then I find myself playing Elite Dangerous for 10 hours straight.
Right? Yeah, I actually recently downloaded the Far Cry Primal because I enjoyed Far Cry 3 so much, and I don't know, I've put a few hours into it already. But it's one of those one of those games that's gonna take a while to beat. So
Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon to me is like one of my favorite games on 360. That's like in my top 5 for
yeah,
sure. That was so much fun, and it came out of nowhere. Did you ever
yeah.
play that?
I haven't played that one. No, in fact, the Far Cry 3 is the first one I've ever of the series I've ever played.
Yeah, Far
So
Cry 3 Blood Dragon took the Far Cry 3 engine and then just made it into the most 80s game possible.
interesting.
Like they have 16-bit cutscenes in it.
Nice.
Yeah, 16-bit cutscenes, overly overly masculine, overly masculine heroes that are like super broy.
Right.
And it got to the point where you're like, man, this is like a sex scene away from being an 80s movie. It's like, oh, there it is, 16-bit sex scene.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. So, tell us a little about your role at TinyBuild, because we've gotten away from that a little, but what is it that you do?
Uh, man, I mean, honestly, like my daily sort of routine is I get up and I just answer a couple hundred emails. Um, a lot of it are responses to partners that we're working with for different initiatives. Another decent chunk nowadays actually is responding to game submissions, and that actually takes a decent amount of time to kind of look at each submission, hopefully figure out within a few minutes whether it's something that we want to look deeper into or not. And then if so, then, watch a video, play a demo, and then take that to the rest of the team if it kind of, makes it past that bar, if you will. It's not really a bar, it's just, kind of entertainment as far as our personalities go. Um, and then the next thing I do is Yuli and I actually both do a lot of the social media stuff throughout the day. So a lot of Twitter. We hang out in Twitch chats constantly and interacting with the streamers and fans and whatnot. And then we just come up with random weird ideas that we try and implement, and usually it breaks, and then we fix it, and then it becomes awesome.
I kind of like that philosophy. It breaks and we fix it.
Yeah, I mean, just like so within the recent Punch Club thing, there was we implemented Twitch betting within the game itself, and that's tied into a recent affiliate system that we launched, which is then tied into a crafting discount code system that we just also launched alongside the Punch Club update. And it's all run on these weird bots that are tied to different platforms that we don't control. And you can only test so much with 5 people on your team. But then when you give it to the masses, then lots of weird edge cases happen. And like I think for like the first day, maybe only 50% of the people were able to use the bot. For some reason, it just wouldn't start with other people. And
Yeah,
we keep on.
I have a friend who's in that camp at the moment.
Yeah, it should. From what I understand, and most of it was fixed yesterday during the European time. Doing a lot of like force, kind of closing the bot and opening it versus making the streamer do it themselves by closing the game and opening it and things like that. And then there's a lot of very specific things that's hard to explain to somebody in a few sentences
Is there
that
no
you
time
have
to
to do.
explain?
There's never time to explain. Let's be honest. But like for instance, when you're trying to like register with your like OAuth keys and your usernames and stuff, you can't use your actual name because your actual name has like capital letters in it. But when you're hooking into the backend through Twitch, it won't recognize any capital letters, so everything has to be lowercase. But that's hard to like sort of communicate for people to understand. So that was actually a lot of problems that people were putting in their actual name, and it would say it's connected, but it's not really connected. And then trying to troubleshoot that via while they're streaming the game and all sorts of things or through Twitter, it's all really interesting to do. But we're closing in on more concrete and stable solutions. I think that maybe another day or two, and it'll be really stable. I mean, there's still gonna be some edge cases out there that it'll fail on, but we have this whole back end platform planned. That this is like the very beginning of it, and we'll start rolling out new chunks every, I don't know, however long it takes us to do it, I guess. But we're relatively quick with prototyping. Throw it out there to the wolves, see what happens.
Yeah, this is all, in fact, this is all incredibly interesting because you guys are taking the interactive part of gaming and like making it even more interactiver.
Interactivers. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, is there what made you guys make the move to include Twitch integration as much as you have? Like I know with Party Hard, for example, was one of the first ones I saw where the chat could influence the game.
Hmm. So we're kind of always, I'm not really sure how, but we're kind of just always on the brink of what's coming up and what the new things are. So like several years ago, it was the YouTubers and whatnot. We were working with them a lot with speedrunners. Um, and then that kind of then Twitch kind of blew up, and all those streamers or YouTubers kind of migrated over to Twitch as well because you could do more real time stuff. And then we kind of just rolled with them, and then um, we ended up being a really good partner of Twitch themselves, because we'd always do weird stuff on stage, and Twitch as a company really likes non-scripted banter
Oh,
and
that's good
and
to
and,
know.
and what yeah, they don't necessarily, at least like when at like PAX and stuff, they don't like you go up there and like have everything scripted, like this is what I'm gonna say, this is what I'm gonna say, this is what I'm gonna reply to that question, I can't comment on that, blah 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 blah. That's boring, that's just boring. And then we get up there and it's just chaos. And they actually really enjoy that because it makes for good TV, right? Entertaining stuff. Than just hearing the same thing over and over again. It's a lot like panels, right? Like if you go to a panel, especially like a business conference or something, most of the time, everyone on that panel is going to agree with each other, and it's boring as shit, just complete rubbish. And so, actually, Alex was on a panel recently, and I told him, "All right, this is what you need to do. Uh, go up there, bring a bottle of vodka, and tell them anytime somebody agrees with another panelist, you have to take a shot." And it seems like everyone agreed, and I mean there definitely were some shots taken, but it made it, and then it made it more interesting too. But they also maybe thought about different things than just agreeing with the next with the person before them said, and maybe adding like the word "the" or something. I don't know.
Did you have to take one for Alex agreeing with you that that'd be a good idea?
No, no. Most of my ideas are good. No, I'm just joking. Um, so anyway, so yeah, we work with Twitch, and we realized the streamers are becoming more effective at the time than YouTubers were. And we just kind of kept on rolling with it. We had a lot of good relationships with them. And obviously, we still do YouTube stuff, but Twitch as a platform is much more interactive than just, oh, hey, I put up a video, please spam my comment section sort of thing.
But what if I want to make $50,000 from home in just 6 hours?
Right, exactly. You go watch a YouTube video. And so yeah, so we just kept on trying to push that envelope and see what we could do with the platform. Because like you had mentioned, not there's not a lot of people doing it. I think Twitch had said that, like, or maybe not Twitch, but some people have said, like, we're the only company that they're aware of that has ever, like, not really so much required, but strongly suggested, if you will, for a game such as Party Hard, that they have to have that in the game in order for it to release, which ended up being a really good um, idea. I mean, it could have completely backfired us
Was that
on it.
available at launch? Was that feature?
Yeah, yep,
Okay.
yep.
But I didn't really play with it until afterward. Plus, I mean, we all discovered that that game is not so easy to do while drinking, even if there's a sweet prize on the line.
Right. Yep, that's very true.
Not a game to
Uh,
play while partying hard.
it's a rough game. It really is. You have to have patience.
You also have to have chat that isn't completely a holes.
That's true. That
Because
is true.
I've seen way too many streamers get just ruined by their chat deciding,
Hmm.
oh yeah, let's send in a party or let's send in a mad killer.
Yeah, no, exactly. I've seen where there's like 80, 90 people in the party because the chat keeps on, bringing in, different groups of people. So it's pretty funny to watch, though.
Yeah. Now, how did you guys get in? Like a person, like as a business, are you like partnered with Twitch itself?
Um, so there's not any official partnership, if that's what you're asking. Um, so like, every event that we're at and they're at, they will ask us if we have something interesting to say. And if we do, we essentially we still have to pitch it to them. But generally, we pitch it in the way that they are entertained, and so therefore they give us like an hour slot or something on one of the days, and we can showcase or talk about whatever we want to talk about. Um, but there's not an official sort of partnership. Um,
Okay, they just like what you're doing and
mhm.
consider it free advertising.
Yeah, I mean, and then also, like, we're like the one of the only companies really utilizing their platform. There's maybe like a handful or less, to be honest. And so because to be honest, I don't think they really even understand what their platform can and can't do. They're hoping that content creators and developers will help them learn what their platform could be useful for, aside from just the streaming stuff.
Okay.
I've had lots of TinyBuild in general, have had several meetings with lots of Twitch people, and we just talk about what we would want out of the platform, what we're looking for, what we think that it could be used for, et cetera, et cetera. So they're definitely interested in all of that, and us doing the Twitch plays for Punch Club, the Twitch integration for Party Hard, the Twitch, the Tiny Rewards program that essentially it's only based on Twitch users. We keep on trying to figure out ways to make it so people continue obviously to stream our games because that's the end goal, really, to be honest, for us. But then also to uh, share the love around within the streamers. So like one of the things we're working on currently within our Tiny Rewards program is like if a streamer's playing our game, uh, we'll have, like, say for instance in Punch Club there'll be another screen that'll just show a list of everybody that's streaming Punch Club currently. If they go and they raid one of those streamers, then the streamer will get extra points. All of the fans that were in that streamer's channel that go to the new channel with the raid will get bonus points, and essentially continue to reward people to go to different channels and kind of spread out and follow different streamers, and then essentially help build that community for the streamers. Because I mean, if we can help the streamers build their community, then they're going to obviously, in return, help us by playing our games. So it just kind of all makes sense.
Play games, get followers.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, is there a pyramid here?
It's just really a big circle jerk, to be honest. That's all.
Yeah. So how would you say working with because you guys are how would you classify yourselves? Because would you classify yourselves as developers and publishers, or just publishers, or because I mean you guys have created games, but you also publish a lot of
Mhm.
games that you had no no, I don't want to say no involvement in, but you did not create the game.
Right. So we still consider ourselves developers and publishers. For the very reason is that sure we're not developing our own IP currently, internally. However, we have before, and that's how we got started. So we understand that process. We still do produce all of our games that we publish, and we still do all of the development porting work for all the console stuff for majority, if not all, of our published games. So there still is and then obviously all of our back end, tiny rewards, et cetera, stuff. That's all internal development as well. So there's still a lot of development going on, um, but no, like we're just making a game from scratch as of yet.
Okay, how big is the team? Because off the top, like I've worked with you guys before, so I've met I believe 5 total. Let's see, there'd be you, Mike, Alex, Yulia, and Lerica.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the 5 I've met.
Right. So on top of that, we have Tom Bryan. He's also one of the guys that helped start TinyBuild.
One of the creators of No Time to Explain, correct?
Yep, he's the creator of No Time to Explain. And then we have a few guys on the development side. We have Matthias, and we have a Vitsa. I think that the new dude's name is Matthias too. Shit, don't quote me on that. I don't know. To be honest, like all the names to me in my head sound so similar, and I mess them up all of the time. Uh, it took me like 3 years to figure it out, and then they added somebody new, and now I don't know who he is anymore. But yeah, so there's basically like we're about 8 of us total on the TinyBuild side. Now there's also other people in our office, like the Double Dutch guys are in office, and they have the 2 developers and then a couple contractors for the speedrunners team. The check and knockout guys work out of our office sporadically and whatnot. Yeah.
Okay, so that game's still coming.
I guess. Yeah. No, it's coming. It's coming. The problem is that it's made in Game Maker, right? And it's
Ah,
pretty rough to do Game Maker games on consoles. Um, and that's kind of where the hitch is. Like the game in general is more or less done, right?
yeah, because I've played the game. That's why I was
Yeah,
curious about
yeah,
that.
it's more or less done. It's just I don't know if you've looked at any of the recent local multiplayer only games on Steam, but they don't sell anything. So basically, you have to do a console launch at the same time. Otherwise, I think I personally feel it's kind of suicide for your game. Um, so yeah, so that's essentially what we're trying to do. Do a console launch alongside the PC launch with Check and Knockout.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, there's a trailer that keeps rolling by. If anybody's watching this, and if they're watching it on YouTube later, there's a game that I know you're excited about, so I'm going to let you talk about it. The Road to Valhalla.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, tell us a little about that game and like why you're so excited about it, because you wouldn't shut up about this game at Back South.
Right. So I mean, for me, that was a really a real personal sort of game. I grew up in I guess the Atari/NES era, and I really loved the game Marble Madness growing up. It was a great game for me, and so I saw this, and I was like, oh man, it's like Marble Madness. And then if you get closer, I mean, you can see this trailer, like the floor text basically just mocks you the entire time and just tricks you into doing stupid shit. So it's kind of like Marble Madness meets kind of like the Stanley Parable to me, with this sort of like really mellow yet invigorating rhythm game. So it's to me it's pretty exciting. I really enjoy it.
Yeah, like I said, to me it reminded me of like if you took Marble Blast Ultra and mixed it with the hardest game in the world, or if you or if
Yeah.
you even took it like going beyond video games. I'm sure everyone's seen a marble maze at some point, like the one where you tilt the wooden board and the marble moves around the
Hmm.
maze. Yeah, it's just putting
Yep.
that in virtual space and yeah, adding a bunch of hazards that you couldn't make in real life, unless
Yeah,
you
it's
know.
also yeah, it's also a puzzle game too, right? So like it does a lot of things to just break your brain. To where it like makes sense to flip the controller upside down or on its side to actually help you out. So
Yeah, that was frustrating.
right.
How many people actually beat that level at PAX South? Because that was one of the challenges at PAX South was to like beat that level 4.
Right. I don't remember. I have to look or ask Alex. I think we got like maybe like 100 or so beta signups from it, which is what that QR code was.
Yeah, that was just. It's like that was just frustrate. That was just frustrating to play. The games you showed off at PAX South, and I feel comfortable talking about these only because you've publicly shown them. Is we had Lovely Planet Arcade, which is a kind of a rehashing of a previous game you've put out, Lovely Planet,
Mm-hmm.
available on Xbox One and Steam,
Mm-hmm.
as well as you had Road to Valhalla. You had Diaries of a Spaceport Janitor and The Final Station. No,
Mm-hmm.
wait.
Yep.
Yeah, okay, not the last. I kept getting confused with Final Station and Last Station.
Yeah, it's the final station.
Yeah, and although I notice you keep mentioning consoles in this, and is there? I noticed though, I've only seen your games on the Xbox console,
Mm-hmm.
as well as PC. Is there a particular reason behind that? Have you had any trouble with PlayStation?
Basically, I mean, sort of. We more or less just got started late with PlayStation, and the Wii, to be honest. Because Xbox or Microsoft is here, right? And I know people there, so it was very easy to get the dev kits early. Um, and then the second part is we got a PS4 dev kit early, but what they do is they actually IP lock your dev kit
Ah,
to the region where you got it, right? So mine was locked to my old house in this region, but no development happens here, right? So when I gave it to Alex, we found that out when he took it to the Netherlands and whatnot, and so we literally couldn't use it for well, we just literally couldn't use that one. And it took a while to get anything from the Europe side of PlayStation because they were out of like loaner stock for a while and yada yada yada. So it did take us a while to get a couple extra EU PS4 dev kits. We do have two games already past cert though on PlayStation 4 that will be releasing relatively soon. And the third game is pretty close to being done as well. So definitely stuff coming out.
all right.
Same with the Wii U.
All right.
We have one game coming out there.
Okay, speaking console releases, and I put this in here because you're fine with mentioning that this game's coming out on console now.
Which game?
The one, the one where we drank a lot at the it was like, Party Hard.
Yes, yes, yeah.
Is there a release date for that yet, or is it just soon?
It's still unfortunately just soon.
Now, is that like
Um,
speedrunners soon, or?
no, no, no. That is not speedrunners soon. That is me, I guess. Hopefully saying soon. Um, I don't know what the hell speedrunners soon is. But
And by the way, to explain the joke quickly, speedrunners I've seen at the last like two E3s as coming soon. from ID at Xbox.
Yeah.
And in fact, it's been playable, I believe, at the 2 last Xbox events that they had, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Yeah, it has.
So that's why I say
Soon. Soon.
soon, sometime within this decade.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. No, Speedrunners is launching soon. If that also helps.
That does not. But would you be confident in saying they'll get not Punch Club, we'll get Party Hard before we get Speedrunners?
Yes.
Okay.
Wait. Before we launch Speedrunners out of early access, or before we get it on console?
On console.
Yes.
Wait, is that game still in early access?
Yep.
Oh.
Yep.
It feels like a complete game.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah, I was like, I was not aware that was
Yeah, it's been early access for a while. But finally putting finishing touches.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, really fun game. Speedrunners. I consider Speedrunners your guys' bread and butter. I don't know if you guys do.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, I want to bring up it's something that I'm going to bring up with you as a publisher, because again, Speedrunners available, and you guys have a small alternate purchase in it that's purely cosmetic. But I noticed you guys avoid microtransactions, and it seems
in Speedrunners,
well, just in general. I mean, in Speedrunners you do have the YouTubers pack,
right?
but in general, where like I noticed there's not a lot of, like, you can't like pay to have more potions in Punch Club, or pay for better items in Party Hard.
Right. In general, yes, we do avoid microtransactions. However, there will be probably microtransactions in Speedrunners. Obviously, there's the DLC, but we're also going to be opening some other stuff within Speedrunners on launch. So it won't be. It's all purely cosmetic stuff. We definitely don't do any gameplay changing stuff. This is just all cosmetic.
Okay, I mean that's definitely so your approach with microtransactions, you'd say, is keep it cosmetic.
Yeah, definitely. We don't touch anything where the gameplay is designed around the monetization strategy. I don't know. We get probably 5 to 10 submissions a day surrounding usually mobile free to play games, and I basically just reply like, we don't do free to play. We don't buy users. I'm sorry, but there are publishers out there that do. So
hey,
best of luck.
would you like to give out the number for Electronic Arts?
Yeah, right.
It's not fair to. Nah, actually, it is. But yeah, so what can you tell us? What can we expect in the near future from TinyBuild Games, and where can we see you guys?
So what can you expect in the near future? Let me look at our calendar here real quick. What the hell are we doing next week? I don't even know.
Oh, next week
What
is
month
GDC,
this?
correct?
Yeah, but GDC, whatever. No, we were so busy with Punch Club and this whole Tiny Reward thing. There's no way we could make it to GDC. So we're probably gonna do a beta next week of Road to Valhalla. See what else we're doing. We have a couple console launches coming up. Then we have PAX East that we'll be at.
I'm very excited about. I know some things about PAX East. I am very excited for PAX East.
Yeah,
Looking forward to that.
I don't remember if I told you or not, but Alex won, and we ended up getting a larger space than.
Oh, you did not. I thought he was joking when he talked about that.
No, that bitch is never joking about that stuff. I just always say no, and then it usually never happens. However, Punch Club did well, and it just so happened about a week ago, I got a call from the PAX guys like, so if you're actually serious, this is the option. And
you know what? I love Alex. I'll say this about him, and you can repeat this to him. It's hard to tell it's hard to tell for me when he's joking, when he's serious, when he's mad, because he always has a smile on his face, pretty much. Like when he's talking business, he's always talking business with a smile, so it gets really confusing.
It's more of a smirk.
Yeah,
so it can either be condescending or not.
Yeah, that's exactly what I mean. You knew what I meant. He has that smirk about him where it's like, are you about to talk shit, or are you about to compliment me, or are you about to do both at once?
Yeah.
Russians.
So yeah. So that's the next place we'll be at is PAX East with a giant orange booth again. Also just ordered our punching machine, so there'll be a punching machine again.
Again? All right. So this time let's set a higher goal then.
I don't think so, man. Somebody's gonna punch through that thing. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I was like, what do you mean someone's gonna punch through that thing?
Yeah.
That was fun, and like I said, looking forward to PAX East. I know some surprises in store. Definitely worth checking out if you guys are at PAX East. Definitely worth coming by. You might have a chance to win a lot of money.
Might.
There might be a chance you can win a lot of money, and you guys just got to do one thing.
Just one little thing. One simple little thing.
Would you like to play a game? Yeah, so again, looking forward to that. Thank you guys. If you have plans coming up for because I noticed that TwitchCon moved to San Diego.
They did. Yup.
So can we expect any announcements with as much as you guys are into Twitch integration, can we expect TwitchCon announcements in the future as well, or is that still in the air?
I would expect it. The only in the air part is because we didn't have a booth last year, we were, they give the first right to everyone that had one last year. But if there is space, we've already told them that we want to buy a spot. So I would anticipate that we'll get something there.
Well, I mean, who wouldn't take your money?
Right? People with no space.
I just kicked Devolver out.
There you go.
All right. Anyway, Luke, tell us where we could find you.
Like, I'm
online.
Chair at home. Basically, just at TinyBuild is our Twitter, and I'm or Yuli are there pretty much all the time. Or you can also whisper us on Twitch, just TinyBuild on Twitch, since that's kind of platform wide now, and that's typically me. So that's the easiest place. Otherwise, you can shoot us an email, contact@tinybuildgames.com.
Yeah, and remember, it's like when you whisper, don't be careful about it. We don't want a careless whisper,
right?
Or else you may find yourself never dancing again.
Never dancing again.
Yeah. Anyway, Luke, thank you for joining me, and thank you that did join us for this test broadcast of Late at Night with Frisco Flame. The show proper debuts the 20th, and we're just kind of working out the kinks here. I'd love to have you back, perhaps at PAX East or slightly after PAX East, to talk about more things coming from the company.
Sure.
And yeah, you can find me at Frisco Flame on Twitter, on Frisco Flame on Twitch. At It's Late at Night on Twitch as well. Again, this show properly debuts the 20th, where I'll have R&D Labs, and I have a few other guests lined up that you're sure to enjoy. Thank you very much. Love you, Internet. Peace out, party peoples.